Hey guys, Jared from Boat Outfitters. I'm joined with Matt today. We've got a pretty cool segment today. We're going to talk about quite a few gifts or items that we have that are, primarily for fishing, being organized on the boat, and they're all going to be under $100. So, if you're out there this year looking for gifts for Father's Day, Mother's Day, you name it, Christmas, this is going to give you kind of a helpful idea of some of the different things that we have that are available. So, basically we're just going to walk through these products pretty quickly, then go to questions, comments if we have any from the viewers, and then again, like we normally do, any questions that you have after the video, if you're watching this later on, comment below and we'll be able to answer those questions for you. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Yep, the first deal here is just a really small product. It's a sturdy mount knife sharpener. Cool thing for this, you can add it anywhere on the boat, add it to a cutting board, fillet table, just really allows you to sharpen the knife pretty quick. And I think these last for a fair amount of time, right? As far as sharpening the knife.
I bought one of these, I mounted it on like a piece of random 2x4 that I had at the house, and I use it for all the knives in my house.
And never had an issue with it not keeping the knife sharp or anything like that?
The cool thing is the metal portion of this is reversible, so once you wear one side out, you can go to another one. It only costs $10, so it's really pretty cool. Pretty good little part.
Yeah, that's an awesome part. So, retail price on that's $10. We're going to start from lowest to highest and work our way up. I do want to kind of give a disclaimer, if you're watching this video in 2030, of course, prices aren't going to be the same. Odds are, prices go up every single year. Second part we're going to talk about, it's very small, so I'm going to lean in here so you can see it. This is actually a really, really cool part. It's called a line cutter. The guy that came up with these is actually on Shark Tank, and he has two different versions. This is the flat mouth version that has an adhesive backing here that you're able to kind of peel off and stick to anywhere you want on the boat, always at a hand's reach. You're cutting through a lot of that braided line nowadays that is just very difficult to get through. I think it cuts up to 80-pound braid super quick. Boom, pull it right through. Good for cutting off tag ends of lures or hooks when you've tied your braid to it, even mono. They also offer a zipper mount. So if you've got like a PFD that you're wearing on a regular basis, or something that's on like the zipper of your pants, your fishing pants, you're able to have that on and again have it at hand's reach. So that's a good part. This part retails for $14 currently. So the third thing we're going to look at here, this is actually a neat part, and what I want you to be able to imagine with this is that this drops directly onto the normal 5-gallon bucket. So your standard 5-gallon bucket you get at Home Depot for $3, Boat Outfitters bucket if you want to give us a shout out and have some swag out there. This just drops in. You'll see that there's a notch that's cut out from the bottom of it, and what that allows is that as you're chopping bait on the top of this board, to be able to have a waste area to be able to drop the bait down inside of the bucket.
Right.
It's got a pretty cool little knife holder here, so you can drop your knife in there on top of the bucket.
The nice thing about the knife holder on this is it actually drops the blade inside the bucket, so it's protected.
Not exposed. You can probably barely see it here. I'm going to try to hold this up as close as possible, but we actually milled down underneath the bottom side of this. So with that mill work, we're able to drop this in, and it's not sliding around on the top of the bucket. It stays stationary. So this is a really cool part. We sell a lot of these, good for guys in the marina, on the boat for bait prep. A good part retails right now for $21, $20.99. So really cool part. So if any of you guys have ever been out bottom fishing, one of the things, depending on where you hold the rod, I hold mine up underneath my arm, and for red snapper season, I come back and it feels like somebody's punched me in the armpit for an entire day. It's somebody that holds it down on their waist here to be able to crank down on the fish. This part's really neat to slip onto the bottom of a rod butt.
Right.
A lot of the rod butts that you have for deep sea fishing, and they generally have that gimbal pin plastic bottom that, once you start putting it into the hip to be able to reel down on the fish, becomes super
digging in, it's cutting, it's bruising, it's not fun.
Yeah, so
this makes it a lot nicer.
This is something that, it's a little soft foam that feels good, up against your hip or into your stomach. Just something you can throw on the box, throw it into a little storage box that, as you're fishing throughout the day and you make the decision that you want to use something like this, you can grab it out.
What's that run?
This retails $21.95. So,
gotcha.
Something good to have, and again, quickly interchangeable to the different rods. So you need one, maybe two of these max on the boat, and you're in good shape.
Right.
Next part, actually, I think is really cool. So this is a fillet away fish mat. You can see kind of if I angle it, there's some kind of little
like
tags, stippling exactly on there. So you're able to lay this flat onto the area that you're prepping bait, right?
Right.
Or filleting a smaller fish.
I don't know if you guys can see that, but he just shook the whole table by trying to move it.
So it stays very stationary, doesn't slip on most material. You know, you can lay it on a cutting board. Nice thing is that it's a good bait prep area that retains all of that blood, guts, juice, whatnot, that you can just take and dip over the side of the boat, clean off, or dip over the side and spray it with your wash down. So really neat, holds the fish, the stippling kind of holds the bait or the fish in place as well. You know, you're able to do your bait prep work on there. You know, this is something that's super cool, $27, right? So awesome deal.
Folds up, rolls up, stores out of the way.
Wherever you want. I mean, this is something that, you know, if you're cutting stuff on the boat, stop cutting on top of your live welded. Right?
Or your cooler, or something.
Throw this down on top of it. It definitely saves you some damage there.
Right.
So one of the things that we're going to talk about, and we're going to probably do more segments on tool holders as well. Right. It's just a really cool tool holder that we have. This is probably one of our most popular ones out there on the market. You can see that this tool holder incorporates a boga grip, right? So it holds the boga grip, it's slotted for that. Standard pair of rigging pliers fits right down in here, and then you've got 2 slots for knives in the back. So you've got your bait prep knife, and then you've got your larger little fillet knife, and it goes right down here in the socket. You know, we have versions of these. This is actually a permanent mounting version where there's 4 mounting holes here, but we also sell suction cup versions that if you don't want to screw holes in the boat, you can lock that in place, and you know, it sits there, and when you're not fishing, you can take it and stow it in the console. So this is a good product. This retails right now for $32.84, so a good gift idea for the fishermen on the boat.
It does a good job. That is definitely the best-selling one that we have.
They love it.
They do.
So the last one I'm going to talk about here today.
This is one that I think super cool.
Yeah, it's a cool product that you know, we met the guys that came up with this at ICAST, I think 2 years ago. And this is one of a couple different configurations and styles that we have. This is the Groove Hard Bait Box. This retails for $34.95 currently, and you know, if I'll open it up here, what you can see the purpose of this is it simply opens up, and you've got little silicone grooves in here. Now, if you get in there pretty close here, you can see that we've got these different hard baits, right? So here's like a rattle trap. Everybody knows when you've got 20 of these in a box and you go to dig one out,
they're all coming with
all the treble hooks, they're all coming in, and then you're trying to dig in and you're going to end up sticking yourself. So this is a really cool part that keeps all of your hard bait organized. You know, they basically sit right down in there, nice and perfect. You know, we have different sizes. This is one of the larger ones. We've got a smaller one that doesn't hold as many hard baits, and then they also make a configuration as well that's specifically designed for jig heads, right?
Right. It's not the big like hard bait flaps that you see here. It's actually little spaces you can put the hook portion of the jigs down into.
Exactly. So really cool deal. Like I said, $34.95. You know, again, a really good seller for us for the past couple of years. So
yeah,
Matt,
super cool part.
Throw it to you.
One of the other things that we've got right here is the tackle webs. I mean, tackle webs. You guys have probably seen something like this on your boat. The nice thing is it gives you the ability to store something in an unconventional place, maybe like behind your cooler under the leaning post. The bungees can be used to strap this right up to the legs or on the side of your aluminum leaning post. Fits a regular 3700 Plano tray, slides right in. You know, if you're looking to use it for gloves, for maybe some other tool holders you have, a dehooker, other things that you're looking through.
Snorkel,
right,
whatever.
Exactly.
They make them in different sizes, right?
It does a good job there, and this is $34.99. Yeah, the tackle webs. This particular one's $34.99. We've got a variety of options. This particular one is the bungee style, but there's also Velcro style, so you can actually put the Velcro on the side of the flat space on your console, or even on the side of the gunnel, and then just stick it right there.
Awesome.
The next thing we got here is stuck to the table because it's one of our suction cup leader holders. It has the 4 suction cups on the back. It's one of the options that we have on this. We do sell this without suction cups, but it's nice because it holds 4 of the what is this, 20-pound, 50-yard spool Andy monofilament leader, and these are convenient. The little puck slides right off. You can change out your sizes if you know where you're putting them. You're in good shape. You could write the size or leave the tags on there. It does really good. We've got different sizes of these as well. This is a 2-spool leader holder. We've got a single and we've got a triple, but we've also got some leader spool holders that have tool holders integrated into them as well.
Yeah, so that's a cool deal. Shout out to my buddy Greg Pullen. He's got one of these that he just sticks either up on top of the console. He runs a Contender out of Islamorada, throws it on the side or the top of the console on the side of a cooler, and is able to locate it around the boat as he's fishing throughout the day. So we strongly feel that we have some of the best tool holders and products out there, and they're tested out in the field for us with some of our buddies, and that's a good part.
Yeah, it does good. And this particular one, the one I was just showing, goes for $49.33. So just under $50, pretty reasonable for some mobile tools, leader storage. The next thing I got here is a little bit smaller part, but it's really kind of a cool part. It's this little drop-in rotating gimbal option. So this actually drops right into a rod holder, and you can see it's notched on the bottom, so it'll lock right into the gimbal pin. But what it does is it allows you to convert a static rod holder into it gives you the ability to rotate the rod inside the rod holder. So sometimes you see big electric reels, they need to rotate in the rod holder to face towards the outriggers, because they're running the double pulley line through the outriggers, and it doesn't point straight back off the boat, it points right at the riggers. So sometimes you got to swing it around, or even if you're fighting a fish from a rod holder in the transom of the boat, it allows you to follow that fish right around there. So it's really pretty cool. Nice 316 stainless. It's a heavy duty part, and this goes for about $50 as well.
Awesome.
The next thing we have is our gaff holder.
Sold a ton of these.
Yeah, we've sold a ton of these. Actually, we even took this part. This was designed for the gaff holders, and we turned it into its own part on the website. We just call it boat pole holder set, or boat pole holder hook. And those have sold like crazy too. But the cool thing about the gaff holders is, and I'll go to a different page so I can show you guys what I'm looking at here. This little tab is spring loaded, and you can see the retainer extends out right there. And let me jump over to the other screen. You'll see.
Cool.
Yeah, here we go. And show you the quick release gaff holder. And you can see a video of it just kind of popping out right here.
So you mount both of them to a flush surface. Boom.
Yeah, you unhook the bungee, you grab it, you pop it right out. It's much quicker access to get to it. It might take, maybe a couple seconds longer to put your gaff away, but you're never in a rush to put it away. You're always in a rush to get it out and get the fish in the boat.
Well, not to consider that, but also protection, right? Your gaff,
right.
Your tip of your gaff's no longer exposed. It's tucked down somewhere safe, that when you're walking along the gunnel of boats, if it's in the a gunnel rod holder, that you hook it with your leg, or up on top of a tower is probably the best place for it if you don't have a storage like this. But we sold a lot of those. It's a really good part.
Let me jump back over. I'll show you what Jared's talking about here. You see a close-up picture. You see right here how the hook is actually retained behind this little tab of starboard that's poking out. That's what he's saying. It really keeps the hook protected. You don't have to keep a cover on it, and it's going to be safe from anybody on the boat. I'll jump back over here and move on to the next one that we got for you. We've got a few different of the Bubba parts. Bubba parts. They're not just blades anymore, because we've got the plier holders here now. So, the pliers are really pretty awesome. These things I haven't had a chance to use them. I don't know if you have, but they're I'm picking up a set for me.
Yeah. So I mean, we carry a long line, like Matt's mentioning, of the Bubba Blade products specifically. You got your standard 7-9-inch tapered flex fillet knife. We've got the pistol grip pliers that Matt's showing you there, your standard pliers, your rigging pliers for split rings. A lot of those products are going to run anywhere from the $55 up to the $75 range. That follows Matt pricing, so really same place. If you're buying anything from us here from a cutting board standpoint, or bait prep on the boat, we've got all the different Bubba Blade products here available as well.
Yeah, these things are fantastic. I've used the 9-inch blade. This is the 7-inch blade here, and it's a nice fillet knife for sure.
Yeah,
it does a good job getting through everything. And like Jared said, the knife that you just saw is $55. The pliers are $65. So right in between that $75 to, what'd you say, $55 range.
$55, $75.
Yeah.
Yep.
The last thing that I got here is a little bit bigger. It's the Chum Buddy. This is a pretty cool little part. It just gives you the ability to drop all your little bits inside the tube. You've got this triangular cutter. You can just chunk up your bait. Dead fish carcasses, whatever. Filleted fish carcasses. You can turn the fish that you caught into your chum and really just drop it down in here, grind it up, and drop it in the water, and the top just snaps right on in place.
So the good thing for this, I think the benefit is, you've got some holes that are drilled inside. It's pretty simplistic. I mean, it's essentially a 4-inch PVC pipe with a cap, and again, this blade being able to really get the bait in there and push it up. So you don't have your standard bag that you're throwing a big brick into. This is, you can get some fresh cut bait, be able to throw this in here and be able to chop that up pretty good
and get good
back
chunk
in the water.
Fresh
exactly
chum.
That's coming out of it. So this is a cool part we've sold a lot of. We met these guys at the Fort Lauderdale show here a couple years back. Good group of guys really stand behind this product here.
So you can see here we've got the video on the website for the Chum Buddy as well.
Throwing in the bait.
That's it. Then just jamming it up, and I think they do a pretty good job. I think they slay it in the video.
Yeah. So you can see it here as they drop it overboard. You're able to shake it, chop it.
So you got the rope to hang on to there, so you can actually jam all the chum up while it's in the water. That's what's creating the mist, the cloud.
Pass this back over to you here.
Sure thing. We'll come back to us over here. This the Chum Buddy goes for $59.99 on the website.
Yeah, so in reality, our goal was here today to kind of give you a list of different ideas that are under $100. We've got if we want to switch back over here to the site, we actually have a gift guide on our site. So a lot of times during the holidays, we'll send out this information, kind of link to this page that we're always growing and adding our catalog or expanding our catalog to keep some cool stuff here. You got different tool holders, a fish bat, like I said, some of the different pliers, rigging boards.
Right, you can see the line cutters. We've got the groove boxes on there, some of the Bubba Blade pliers. We've got different rod holders on here as well. Like everything on the table, this is just a select few items we grabbed for the video, but there is a lot on the website that's under $100.
There's the smaller version of that groove box we saw today.
Right.
Again, you've got a leader tamer that you can stick on one of your rods. Again, some really cool parts, and I don't think that that's necessarily all of them because we're constantly expanding our catalog.
Absolutely.
So if we want to switch back here, see if we've got any comments or questions.
Oh, it looks like
don't have any comments here. So, one of the things that we always say, is you watch these segments, specifically for this, again, keep in mind the pricing is that we gave today is as of February 2020, right? So if you're watching this 10 years from now, keep in mind it's not going to be the same price, right? We can't hold to that. One of the things that we ask from you is that you're interactive. We make this thing something that it's a community thing. We're not on here just trying to pitch parts. We'll tell you the ups and downs of different parts, but wanted this segment to kind of display some of the different parts that we've added to the catalog recently that are some of our best sellers under 100 if you're looking for something for a gift idea. If you've got a boat and you've got questions, a lot of people don't know the parallel between Boat Outfitters and our parent company, Teak Isle, who builds those component parts for the top 200 boat builders out there. So, anytime that you're on a boat and you're looking to fix something up, Boat Outfitters is going to be your solution for that. If it's an older boat that you've got a broken part on, odds are we probably made that component part. So reach out to us. If we don't have it, we're going to send you in the right direction. Matt's got a great team of people that love talking about boats all day. Call us, pick our brains. Again,
it's what I'm here for.
If it's not something that we have, we will make sure you're taken care of and at least pointed in the right direction. Other than that, there's really not much more to cover. Just really appreciate you guys stopping by. Again, we do this every Thursday at noon, so thank you so much, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week.